bKash operates in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is the country of 170 million people. So right now, it's $350 billion economy. 76% of its population is 15 to 44 years old. And on top of that, it's a unique strength is that 98% of the country has mobile coverage. So there's a tremendous opportunity of growth and business in Bangladesh. Now, a decade ago, when we started, there was only 800,000 plastic cards. So there's a serious limitation of payment behavior digitally. And bKash started looking at how do we solve this problem. We started talking to the regulator, and we started coming up with a solution that can create a payment ecology for the mass population. Now, the most common element of payment solution provider in conventional way is a bank. Now, bank is expensive. Every time a customer walks into a bank, it costs $1.50 for the bank. And the common people in Bangladesh, whether it's a carpenter, a rickshaw puller, their average need for taking financial service is around $10 to $12. Okay. Now, when we have a customer of $10, $12 transaction need, and the bank needs to spend $1.50 for that customer, it becomes very much non-viable by the bank. So then we had to come up with a solution which is under the central bank's regulation, and there is a clear visibility of how the fund is flowing, but it has to be regulated and secure and safe, where this basic phone will be used. Now, this is the bird's eye view, what I was just telling, but if you look at the worm's eye view, if you go to the close to the reality, you need to have KYC. Now, KYC is a requirement because we are a regulated service. Every central bank in the world would say every account needs a KYC. Now, how do we ensure KYC? We had one robust thing in the country. We had national database, but there was no connectivity with the national database. So we started from the scratch, and we created this retail agent network across the country where customer would be able to go and would be able to put their money in and take their money out. But those people also were the force to help us recruit the customer. Now, when you are engaging somebody who is running a retail shop, a mom and pop shop, that person also does not have the knowledge of how to handle this regulatory piece of paper, namely KYC. So we had to train a large group of people. And then when customer is registering one part of the country, making sure that paper reaches to the center, verify this thing. And sometimes when we look back, it seems like a miracle, but we did manage to have millions of KYC forms we sorted out and then brought it into a central hub, verified with the national ID card system. At the end of the day, we had to get 12,000 square feet space simply to maintain those physical KYC forms. And when somebody was needing to see one KYC form, whether it's a regulatory body or law enforcement or a court order, then somebody has to take it out from that 12,000 square feet storage facility. It was a tremendous library science we had to apply to take it out and put it back there. Now, this cannot go on. I mean, today we are a service of 47 million customer, and the world is living with digital reality. So we had to come up with an alternative solution. And that's where the ZOLOZ solution came. And it was fantastic because the smartphone in the country has increased. So people can take a picture, and that picture is immediately verified with the system we had with the national ID cards database and see whether it's the right customer. Also, the smartphone can read the ID of the OCR technology, the optical character recognition technology of ZOLOZ, and that can also see whether the text is rightly captured. Because before that, every agent had to write down the customer's name, information, birthday. So many errors are there. We had to revalidate each and every error that took place. That got, in one chance, got corrected. In terms of simplicity and efficiency, bKash moved from one step to another step. Classic example of leapfrog that we made with the eKYC solution. And there are a couple of other things that we applied. Not only each and every customer with a smartphone can avail this service, also the agents that we had, we converted into digital KYC center. So there are 60,000 digital KYC center in the country today, where people who doesn't have a smartphone can walk in there, and register their account. Now, in terms of if I look at the value, okay, number one, the information capturing was absolutely accurate. It became hassle-free, it became faster, cost went down. So in terms of efficiency, there was nothing could have beat the solution that we adopted for eKYC, and it became almost a model for the country. And after we scaled it across the country in a large volume, it was appreciated all through the regulatory bodies as well as the practitioners, saying that this has been a fantastic solution that bKash brought in and subsequently got utilized by many other parties. And we feel blessed that before the COVID-19 pandemic, our eKYC system was working already and things were running very smoothly, because when the outbreak took place, we had to register customer, and eKYC became a lifesaver in terms of maintaining the service flow, and not only the contamination risk of handling documents and packages, but also getting people registered. And subsequently, more than 1 million factory workers started getting their salary. In terms of government, used our tool to provide stipend. Government used our tool to provide stimulant packages across the country. It almost seemed like there was a divine intervention for us to adopt this thing before the crisis hit. So in terms of the value, can tell you how effective it has been, and it's continuously adding additional value as we go forward. So this is one example. As a practitioner, I would say that we should be always investing and staying ahead of the time. See, the good thing about eKYC type technology is whether it doesn't really matter where it is developed, whether it is developed in San Francisco or Bangladesh, we should be capitalizing it for anybody who can utilize this thing. And this is the best example I can see for technology transfer and for value creation among the partners. bKash today is empowered by a technology that is developed at Alipay, but there might be another thing developed at bKash's end, another process that could be developed in bKash's end today that could be applied in Indonesia or anywhere else in the world. And that is where the power of network effect we can capitalize.